Today is August 30th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we are going to continue our journey through Chapter 4, We Agnostics, by reading page 49. At the 12 and 12, we're going to continue through Step 7 by reading page 75, and we'll read today's daily reflection in 24 hours a day. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. We've been given a brand new set once again of 24 hours. What a blessing it is to be alive today. And if we're alive, we have a clean slate and an opportunity to change for the better, to show up best for those we love the most. And what a beautiful opportunity that is. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Alright, so out of the Big Book, we're on page 49. The prosaic skill girder is a mass of electrons whirling around each other in an incredible speed. These tiny bodies are governed by precise laws, and these laws hold true throughout the material world. Science tells us so. We have no reason to doubt it. When, however, the perfectly logical assumption is suggested that underneath the material world and life as we see it, there's an all-powerful, all-guiding creative intelligence, right there our perverse streak comes to the surface, and we laboriously set out to convince ourselves that it isn't so. We read wordy books and indulge in windy arguments, thinking that we believe this universe needs no God to explain it. Were our contentions true, it would follow that life originated out of nothing, means nothing, and proceeds in nowhere. Instead of regarding ourselves as intelligent agents, spearheads of God's ever-advancing creation, we agnostics and atheists chose to believe that our human intelligence was the last word, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end of all. Rather vain of us, wasn't it? We who have traveled this dubious path beg you to lay aside prejudice, even against organized religion. We have learned that whatever the human frailties of the various faiths may be, those faiths have given purpose and direction to millions. People of faith have a logical idea of what life is all about. Actually, we used to have no reasonable conception whatever. We used to amuse ourselves by cynically dissecting spiritual beliefs and practices when we might have observed that many spiritually minded persons of all races, colors, and creeds were demonstrating a degree of stability, happiness, and usefulness which we should have sought ourselves. Moving on over to the 12 and 12, we're on Step 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Page 75. Then in AA, we looked and listened. Everywhere we saw failure and misery transformed by humility into priceless assets. We heard story after story of how humility had brought strength out of weakness. In every case, pain had been the price of admission into a new life. But this admission price had purchased more than we had expected. It brought a measure of humility, which we soon discovered to be the healer of pain. We began to fear pain less and desire humility more than ever. During this process of learning more about humility, the most profound result of all was a change in our attitude toward God. And this was true whether we had been believers or unbelievers. We began to get over the idea that the higher power was a sort of bush league pinch hitter to be called upon only in an emergency. The notion that we would still live our own lives, God helping a little now and then, began to evaporate. Many of us who had thought ourselves religious awoke to the limitations of this attitude. Refusing to place God first, we had deprived ourselves of His help. But now the words, "Of myself I am nothing, the Father doeth the works," began to carry bright promise and meaning. We saw we needn't always be bludgeoned and beaten into humility. It could come quite as much from our voluntary reaching for it as it could from an unremitting suffering. A great turning point in our lives came when we sought for humility as something we really wanted, rather than as something that we must have. It marked the time when we could commence to see the full implication of step 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Daily Reflection, August 30th. The only requirement. At one time, every AA group had many membership rules. Everybody was scared witless that something or somebody would capsize the boat. The total list was a mile long. If all those rules had been in effect everywhere, nobody could have possibly joined the AA at all. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 139 and 140. I'm grateful that the third tradition only requires of me a desire to stop drinking. I have been breaking promises for years. In the fellowship, I didn't have to make promises. I didn't have to concentrate. It only required my attending one meeting, in a foggy condition, to know that I was home. I didn't have to pledge undying love. Here, strangers hugged me. It gets better, they said. One day at a time, you can do it. They were no longer strangers, but caring friends. I asked God to help me reach out to people desiring sobriety, and to please keep me grateful. "24 hours a day, August 30th. AA Thought for the Day. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as extensive work with other alcoholics. Carry the message to other alcoholics. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Life will take on a new meaning for you. To watch people recover, to see them help others in turn, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. Am I always ready and willing to help other alcoholics? Meditation for the day. One secret of abundant living is the art of giving. The paradox of life is that the more you give, the more you have. If you lose your life in service of others, you'll save it. You can give abundantly and so live abundantly. You are rich in one respect. You have a spirit that is inexhaustible. Let no mean or selfish thought keep you from sharing this spirit of love, of help, of understanding, and of sympathy. Give and keep giving. Give your personal ease and comfort, your time, your money, and most of all, yourself, and you will be living abundantly. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may live to give. I pray that I may learn the secret of abundant living. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And man, oh man, I'm a broken record, but gosh, this powerful reading today. Love the 12 and 12. We heard story after story of how humility had brought strength out of weakness. In every case, pain had been the price of admission into a new life. But this admission price had purchased more than we ever expected. Wow. I don't know if anybody else is like me, but I used to replay my past and my rock bottom, or at least my bottom. I guess I hesitate to say rock bottom because I can always dig deeper if I keep drinking. But I used to play it with such shame and everything. And I can't believe I did that. Why did I have to do this? Why couldn't I have just quit on my own and avoided a lot of pain? Not just pain that I felt, but pain that others felt because of my drinking and my irresponsibility. I used to replay all that over and over again. Question why. But now I'm so grateful it happened because one, I can help other people in a very unique way. So somebody that's going through the exact same thing that I once went through, I can identify with that person who's hurting and go, hey, I know where you're at. I've been where you're at. Here's what helped me. So I can share my pain and my weakness, and it can become my greatest strength to help my fellow man. And not to mention the next line, but this admission price had purchased more than we ever expected. I thought I would just stop drinking. I had no idea by doing these steps that I would have an exponentially closer relationship with my higher power. I had no idea that my marriage would be transformed. I had no idea that I'd meet a fellowship of people who are the most sincere and genuine people I'd ever meet, that would call me out in love when I'm messing up, but also have my back no matter what happens. And I had no idea that I would gain so much peace. And as it says here on page 75, actually want to be humble and put others' needs before my own, which kind of bleeds over into the 24 hours a day. And because I'm putting others before myself, I get more joy. Like, you don't understand. I have a big old smile on my face at 3 o'clock in the morning as I'm recording this. Because I get to not only read something out of these books that's going to help me, but I guess by just throwing this out there in the universe, maybe it's helping somebody else too. And that gives me such joy. And it makes me feel like I got a purpose today by just kind of passing this on. What a blessing. What a blessing it is just to be alive and just to be sober. But these are all the things that I gained that I never saw coming just by seeking sobriety and working the steps. Now, I need to preface this by saying, are the steps my higher power? No. For me, my higher power was always there. I believed in a higher power before I became sober. But I feel like I didn't really know my higher power. I didn't have, these steps helped me to learn to put my pride aside so I could seek my higher power and have a stronger relationship with him. And because of that, I am so grateful to have this relationship I never thought I could have with my higher power and with others. I could keep going and going and going about how great sobriety is. Those of you who are sober today, I think you know what I'm talking about. And those of you who desire to be sober, this easily could be you. It's just one day at a time, and you'll learn as you go. But that fog does dissipate, and you start seeing the world through a whole new, beautiful lens. And it's great. Now, life's not any easier. Alright, circumstances are actually harder in my sobriety. I've lost family members, more responsibilities. It's been harder. But I have the tools for living now. It's just beautiful. But that's all from my rambling today, guys. I hope you all have a great one. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.